Well, welcome back to the Where Life Happens podcast. Once again, I am Steve Herron, your host. And as always, I have found another interesting individual I would love to bring to your attention. He is my worship leader at my current church. Just a fantastic young man, young father, just an incredible worship leader as well, and a leader in our community. So I welcome to the table Andrew Cantrell. Thanks for hanging out with
Yeah,
us.
Steve. It's a pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and
Thanks
I
for
told
having
you
me.
this is going to be incredibly relaxed, just like we're sitting in a coffee shop,
Yeah.
just enjoying a beverage on a cold day.
Even
You
brought my
the
coffee.
good. You brought the snow with you as
I
well.
did. Yeah.
Well, it's about time, Colorado, for some weird reason. We've had a very, very mild winter, so it's been fun, but it just tells me we're going to get hammered later. So.
Yeah. I know. January could be pretty wild. We'll see.
Exactly. Springtime here is 12 inches of snow. So
Yeah.
well, I'm just thrilled that you would want to do this.
Yeah, of
I have
course.
been so blessed to sit in a worship service with you, leading us to the feet of Jesus, and just it's been incredible to see your talent, you operating in your sweet spot. It's just you're a natural. You really truly are. You're a gifted musician and singer, and I'm just thankful for you. Definitely,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to puff you up or anything
No.
like that, but
Yeah. Thanks,
I'm
Steve.
grateful for people like you in our community,
Yeah,
and I
thank you.
want to raise awareness for young guys like you.
Mm.
You're juggling a lot, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. It's a crazy season for us.
Yeah. And had kid number 3
Yeah.
recently, right?
Kid number 3 in September. So I have a 4-year-old. His name is Wells.
Yeah.
He's in preschool. 4 going on 13.
Yeah.
He's already getting embarrassed when I bring him into school and I'm being too silly around his friends. My daughter Rosalie, she'll be 3 here in March, and then our newest just turned 4 months. So and his name is
Wow.
Shepherd. So boy,
3
girl, boy.
3 under the age of 5.
Yeah, so hardly sleeping.
Yeah.
So if I start talking and it just makes no sense, that's why.
We understand. We totally
just
understand.
the young kid life. So I'm waking
Yeah.
up like 4 or 5 times a night. But yeah, there's hard parts, but then there's so many moments I'm just trying to cherish,
Right.
Probably some of the greatest wisdom I was given as we started having kids was like, don't wish away
Yeah.
the season you're in. So just trying to be present with every moment we have with them because
Definitely.
it's going quick.
Yeah. And I can attest to that as well. I've raised 4 of my own.
Yeah.
They are ranging from 20 to 35. So I have a granddaughter in preschool. And so she's the baby of the 3 grandkids.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you can carry on an intelligent conversation with a 4-year-old.
It truly is. It truly is.
I'm like, how does their brain develop so quickly? But
Yeah.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
And I have those longings now that we're at this stage of life. There's one kid still at home trying to get everyone launched. And I long for the days where you're at right now. It was a special, special time. So,
Yeah.
so I encourage you, soak it up. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
That phrase, the days are long, but the years are short. The
Yeah.
decades are short now
Yeah.
when I look back.
When I met you, we went on the men's retreat
Right.
at Timbercreek.
Yeah.
And it might have been you. It was a guy who, just further along than I am. He made the comment when we were talking about the chaos of home and young kids. He made the comment where he spoke to the young guy, whoever was saying that, and he said, "Hey, to you at home, that may sound like chaos right now and feel like just noise.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the sound of life.
Yeah.
Because now it's quiet in my home.
Yeah.
So what used to be chaos is just, that was actually life happening all around me.
Right.
And that's maybe the only thing that stuck with me from that retreat, actually. Tons of good things that were shared, but I've just held that now. Just like this is, like beautiful moments happening. And
Right.
as crazy as they are, like I'm going to miss them one day.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to see how their personalities differ.
Oh, yeah.
I swear all
Yeah.
4 of our kids could have had different parents because
yeah.
there's no 2 alike. Their temperaments are
Yeah.
different. I could talk to all three of the girls, for example, and say, you really shouldn't do this. And I'm trying to do some correction. One would cry, one would just stare at me, the other one would like scoff at me, just like, whatever, Dad,
Yeah, yeah.
So their little hearts are so different, and trying to feed into that and tap into who they are, it gets challenging. I'm still
Yeah,
just one person
yeah,
trying to meet every one of their needs.
yeah, yeah.
I used to tell my wife, I wish there were five of me,
Mm,
one for each of the kids. Well, six of me, one for each of the kids, one
yeah,
for her, and then one for me just to be a good friend to hang out with.
yeah. That's real too.
Because we've been intentional to take our time
Mm,
with ourselves.
yeah,
We've got an anniversary coming up,
yeah.
29 years in another
29.
week.
Come
And
on,
so
Steve.
we have been blessed to have take time off,
Mm,
even if it was just a quick overnight, 30 miles away
yeah,
even.
yeah,
Take that time
yeah,
and have some fun and get away from all of that.
yeah. Wow.
But I look back and I just enjoyed all that hyperness in the house.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when video cameras came along and cell phones, they would make some of the funniest moments and crazy videos to share with us that
Oh,
became some of the best mixed video for me,
yeah,
that I look back on and
yeah. I
just
still
really
watch those.
grateful. Yeah,
My parents like had the old VHS ones, right?
right?
Don't even know what they're called anymore, but I'll go visit them and still watch them,
Yep.
and they have the big old photo albums they made where it's like actually printed, right? Like these printed photos, and just looking through them is so fun. So,
Right.
yeah,
Well, I want you to tell us about your journey.
yeah,
Obviously, you've had a heart for the Lord for a long time.
mm,
Music is a big central theme to
yeah,
you,
yeah,
and we're so grateful you share that with us.
yeah. Thanks, Steve.
I honestly think you are truly, truly gifted.
Thanks, Steve.
So, tell us about that path. I mean, what are some of the ups and downs coming through that? What do you hope for the future? I mean, what's on your heart related to that?
Oh man, there's so much. So.
It's a big question.
It's a
So,
big question. Yeah, I'm from northern Colorado. Grew up in Loveland.
okay.
Um, but when it comes to just my faith journey and following the Lord, it was my sophomore year of high school that I was that guy. I was at the retreat for
Yep.
the Lord, but it was for the girls.
Right. Right.
I think I was telling you in one of our other
Can I
times
have your
together.
number?
I had these senior there. I was a sophomore. These senior guys were like, Andrew, you gotta come along, and they just happened to know the hottest girls in the youth group, and I was like, all right, I'll come along. So I went with no really expectation to really meet or encounter the Lord. I had been raised hearing about him, being told to read my Bible, all of those things. But I went on this retreat, and it was one of the sessions, right, where I can't even remember what was preached about, but the Lord came into the room and met me on such a personal level. Like I can't even explain just how powerful it was, because I just wept and wept and wept and wept, and I didn't need anybody to then tell me to, hey, go do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Here's what you should do. Follow the Lord. I wanted to. It was like in my heart. It was burning within me to know this man Jesus who had met me in my sin and all my filth. So, my love for worship, my love for ministry, all has flown from that place.
Okay.
That marked me so significantly. So when I got plugged into youth group right after that, started getting more involved. It wasn't even initially with music. I think music actually just became sort of like the vehicle, for
Okay.
arriving at these sweet places with the Lord.
Right.
But it was all about being sort of close to Him and knowing His presence, the same thing that changed me. And, after even all of these years of doing it, music, as much as I do love music, is just a small part of it. Like my bigger heart is that people actually come to actually know Him, in a similar way like I knew in that encounter, because I think once you behold and once you truly experience the Lord in that way, there is no going back. There is
Yeah.
something that just is so transformational that happens in your life. So
Hard
when
to
I see
forget
that,
it and move on without that was a change.
Yeah. So
Everything's different now.
yeah, and it was such a, it was such a deep heart level thing. Um, that that's been sort of like a huge part of my whole journey as a worship leader. The moment that it feels like it becomes more about writing songs or about being noticed by a big church or whatever it is, that's when ministry and worship goes sour real quick for me in
Mm,
my heart. I can
yeah.
feel I'm getting away from where it all began at. So that place that happened in my early years has continued to be a spot that I I draw from, but like I feel like the Lord's deep in that place too over the years too. But yeah, it's that's sort of where it all began for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, was music something you had already perfected before this time?
Oh.
Like, were you a player, as a teenager, your
um,
guitar?
I did some choir,
Yeah.
but then me and my friends, it was my friend Dylan who encouraged me to pick up the guitar. But at that time, I was into screamo, punk rock, not worship music.
Yeah.
Thought that stuff was boring and awful, so I was playing everything but worship music. But me and my friend Dylan, we had like a little rock band down in his basement. Um,
What age was that? I have to know.
dude. So probably around
Okay.
17 years old, so
Gotcha.
a while ago. But if it weren't for this friend Dylan who was like, hey, buy a guitar, get into music, I'm not sure if I ever would have picked up an instrument,
Okay.
and that's what ended up being the Lord used to then
Right.
like get me plugged into my youth group and then eventually moved down to Colorado Springs and
Okay.
did a worship school, met my wife right after that. And worship's been a huge part of my life ever since. So
Yeah.
it's
And how long have you been married now?
13 years.
13 years,
Yeah.
just in a blink, right?
Yeah, just in
So
blink.
you two had good time alone to
Yeah.
get to know each other before kids came along then.
Yeah.
So that was several years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My story's different. We started having kids immediately. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we waited 9 years. So
Wow.
we waited 9 years. We sort of went back and forth a little bit whether or not we want to have kids.
Yeah.
But we also just enjoyed that time. We traveled, we had dreams, we went after those dreams.
Good.
Some of those dreams, like made a lot of sense. Some were just, we were able to do it because we were young. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that that marked part of our life. But it's funny because since we waited so long, our parents and others would ask us for a while if we were going to have them. And we're like, yeah, we are. But the longer we wait, people stopped asking us those questions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're like, can they have them?
Right.
But once we had it, yeah, it's totally begun a new chapter in our life. So we've, been in sort of the saddle of being parents now for about like 5 years, and it's brought about a lot of adjustments. So,
A lot of
oh my
adjustments, right?
goodness, yeah.
Scheduling, finances, you name it,
Finances, no
everything.
sleep, like I talked about earlier. Yeah,
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you because I can't imagine you not being a good father. Yeah, and you're going to
yeah,
be that fun dad. Your kids are going to just
yeah.
love you.
Thanks.
So I'd like to tell people, or at least bring to their attention, obviously I'm a real estate agent
Yeah,
and I try to bring in central themes about why are we talking today.
yeah,
And that purpose is to not only introduce other leaders in our community, people that have affected me in a good way, such as yourself,
yeah,
but talk about our city as a faith center. I mean, there's a
yeah,
lot going on in our city.
yeah,
And I have to think that maybe that's what drew you to move down here once you've heard about the School of Worship.
yeah,
Um, we have plenty of churches. The faith community is strong here,
yeah.
and there are a lot of Christian ministries here because my story,
Mm,
I was in Christian publishing. That's what moved us across country, and
yeah,
we've been here, you know, going on 17 years.
yeah,
So my kids grew up here.
yeah.
It's there's a lot to offer folks when they come here.
Oh yeah,
We're a super transient community, as you know,
yeah,
with the military bases, but other things, defense contractors and medical practices, whatever. People come and go pretty quickly here.
yeah,
But I want people to know that if that's something they're searching for, the faith community is healthy, alive, and strong.
Mhm.
Plenty of places to plug in and
Yeah.
be encouraged, and you're a part of that.
Yeah.
You are in that network and that structure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your path with you and your wife, like starting out young,
Sure.
finding housing. Where is our home? What does our sanctuary look like? You're a homeowner now,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
How long has that been?
So since 2018, this is our second home,
Okay,
actually. So
cool.
we're in the Briargate area, Old Briargate, sort of by Chapel Hills Mall over there.
Right.
Second time owning a home though. After we got married, we bought a home on the southwest side of Colorado Springs, sort of by Old Colorado City,
Yeah.
and we loved it. At that time, we bought our home for like 160,000 or something,
Yeah.
so cheap. It
Probably
wasn't.
wish you still had it, right?
Yeah, we actually sold it because we left and we went to California. Lived in a place called Redding, California for a little
Oh
while,
yeah.
and we thought we wouldn't be back. We were part of a great church there, but we ended up coming back because of wanting to have our kids around family.
Yeah.
My wife, her parents are here in the Springs. My parents live in the Fort Collins area, so
Perfect. Yeah.
yeah, so we sort of got in a place that felt like it made sense. Family was nearby. My parents are 2 hours away, and then I worked at a church called New Life, which is the big
Right.
church right around here,
Right.
for about 5 years. So
Okay.
I wasn't too far from there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you think about home, the kids have obviously changed what that looks
Oh,
like,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So your sanctuary is a little different now, right?
Yeah.
Describe a typical evening with
Oh,
you and your wife and three
right
kids
now?
under the age of
Oh
five.
gosh.
I can't imagine.
Screaming chaos, somebody always needing something, no rest. The moment I sit down,
Right.
having to get back up. It's sort of that, but it's yeah, we're having a lot of fun right now. So like typical evening, man, it's so funny. Bethany and I, we used to be the people who would go downtown. We would stay up
Mm-hmm.
late. We
Mm-hmm.
love culture, love trying new things. Now, now we're like meals are ready at 5.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like those people. We eat like earlier than my parents eat.
Oh wow.
So like right around 5 is like when we eat each night. With it being January, obviously it gets darker earlier, so
Mm-hmm. Feels like
that
midnight.
impacts it. And then we try and like take time where we're intentional, like which I'm grateful for. Just we are mindful of how much we're like on our phone. Our kids go down at 7,
Yeah.
so right after dinner, it is sort of like a small window where we just try to be intentional with them. So
Good.
um, that could just be nonsense, crazy playing. My son loves Star Wars, which is incredible. So we'll play some game where I'm Darth Vader and I'm chasing him, right? Or what was really special is during the Christmas season we just wrapped up is we really leaned into Advent actually. So
Okay.
we had a lot of sweet traditions around Advent, including them like lighting candles and explaining to them at a young age, like
That's
what's
very
hope,
good. Yeah.
what's joy, what's peace, what's love, and um, just getting their fun answers. As we sort of talked about that, like we talk about hope, and my son is just
Uh-huh.
like, well, I hope for this and that present for Christmas.
Sure.
We're trying to like
They're
teach these
thinking. Yeah.
big, deep themes of like hope, and he's hoping Santa comes. But
Yeah.
um, but it's the beginning, for him understanding these ideas. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. Very good.
yeah,
So, what are your future aspirations around your music? Are you writing as well, or is that
yeah.
something that's becoming more prevalent with you? Or
Yeah, so I've written some and released a few, and that's been a joy. The songs I've released, I've partnered with some friends in Reading, and that's made it a lot of fun. Costs a lot of money, which I don't have right now. So
yeah,
I think there's been a slowing down of recording, but I'm trying to create more space to write again.
right,
I would say during this time of being dad, and then being a full-time pastor at a church, I felt pretty limited as far as my time to actually
yeah,
songwrite.
yeah,
Probably over the last 2 years. When I looking at 2026 now, songwriting is something, even if just for myself and a few others, I've wanted to get back into. I think for a long time, my idea of songwriting was, well, this is what success is. You know, it has to
Yeah.
go this far. I need these churches to get behind it. And that actually has like slowed it down. I feel like has even made my motives for doing it pretty like weird
Yeah.
over the years,
Okay.
because again, going back to what I first was sharing, it all just began from this intimate, pure spot of the Lord encountering me. I'm trying to get back to doing things like songwriting just from that spot.
Hmm.
Like if it's just something I write in my living room and I play for myself and maybe end up playing for my church where I'm at,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Lord's had to sort of renew my mind a little bit in that this year as far as what success looks like.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think for a lot of years, my idea of success when it came to worship ministry was more probably defined by like Christian subculture and a bunch of other
Yeah.
things, the big flashy stuff,
Right.
versus just sort of these beginning roots that I had with the Lord. So there's something really sweet right now at the same time where like that is reawakening the songwriting thing, but from a place that um, feels like where it all began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say you, I know there are two approaches to that. Some people are very scheduled,
Sure.
routine,
Yeah.
and they carve out time. Like I
Yeah.
have these hours for
Yes.
my creative space.
Yeah.
And then, but whenever I hear a songwriter or an artist talk about this song that just took off and how it was written, it was usually in a moment of despair or pain
Yeah.
or great elation, like
Hmm.
some realization hit them
Sure.
of appreciation, thankfulness, or gratefulness,
Yeah.
and there was no scheduling to it.
Yeah.
And some of the best songs are written in minutes.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself in that place where it's kind of occurred that way for you, or?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Like I've
Okay.
had the songs where it's like I'm just, you know, trying to develop my craft. I am an individual where if I can put down on a schedule, it
Mm-hmm.
helps.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just won't
Some
happen.
time for you
Yeah.
alone.
So
Yeah.
I need to put it down, have it be a weekly rhythm if I'm going to do it. And then it's also helpful for me to even like have a start and end time to that songwriting session.
Yeah.
So, um, because sometimes I can just be like, okay, I'm gonna knock something out today because I haven't done it forever. And I'll sit down and it'll be like a 4 hour thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, man, I just spent 4 hours of my life here. I don't even like this song. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know I can afford to keep doing this.
Can I get that 4 hours back?
Yeah,
That kind of
can I
thing.
get back? But then there has been other times that something comes a lot quicker. And I think there's reasons that sometimes that happens. You know, there might be something that's been stirring in me for a while. I
Yeah.
may be in, like you were saying, like just a really difficult season, or there might be something going on with our church or in our city
Right.
that really is just like driving something inside me to write about a certain part of who the Lord is. And those
Hmm.
songs definitely come a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
um, yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
So, how do you and your wife establish or create community? What is currently
Mm,
on your hearts? How you stay plugged in? Time for yourselves,
yeah.
time for you as individuals, and to stay plugged in, because
Yeah.
all the reading and the initiation things that I'm hearing is just reminders that we were built for community. I know a lot of
Mm,
people like to be isolated, and men
yeah.
in particular, they tend to silo themselves and put themselves on an island
Yeah.
and hold all their hurt and their problems inside.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing actively to stay plugged in? I know you're
Yeah.
active in church. I get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's become a routine. It's your
Yeah.
livelihood as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just curious,
Yeah.
naturally curious, what else do you do outside of that just to stay in community?
Yeah. Yeah, there, like you said, there is a lot of community within church and what I do. I see people, I'm around people all the time, and
Yeah.
some of those relationships, and some of those conversations naturally just will go deep. But sometimes, just being a pastor, a lot of times you're just diving into the life of the person you're sitting down with.
Right.
So there's been a lot of times where I felt actually unknown, or that I don't have those spaces to care for my own soul,
Sure.
So and I've sort of learned that the hard way over the years. So me and Bethany, my wife, there's sort of like, we have friends within the church, but then we have friendships where it's like an intentional thing. We put them on the calendar to meet with certain people who
Good.
they invest in us,
Yeah.
right? They ask us the hard questions. We meet with them, and they share the hard things about their life. There was a time in my life where, Bethany and I, we walked through 3 miscarriages, and we've walked through many other hard things, but my wife, she does community so well. I've actually just had to learn from her.
She is a beautiful soul.
She is
Yes. Yeah.
she's incredible. But she's like one of those where she'll just fight. Like, once you're in her inner circle of friends, you're there for life.
Okay.
Like, she'll fight to the death to keep you there, no matter if you're the biggest idiot ever, make the worst decisions, she'll still love you, go after you. And I've learned a lot from her, in a lot of beautiful ways. But there was a time where, going through some of that hard stuff, Bethany's like, well, who you gonna call? Like, who's that person for you? And I've had a few of those humbling moments in my life where I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't
Yeah.
really know. And it was hard because, I was like leading worship with people. I was a pastor at church, but there's been times where I've like, I don't know who that friend is for this thing, because
Yeah.
it just feeling like a messy thing. And those were really difficult moments. So it required me to one, ask the Lord, like, okay, like, who are the people who are around me? And like, I actually need to make this more of a priority,
Right.
put in the work myself, right,
Yeah.
to make sure these meetings happen. So one of my really good friends, give him a shout out, his name's Josh Nath.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a brewery here in town and hung out, and I was like, dude, I have no friends. Do you want to hang out more? And it almost felt like like a DTR, like, to find like, can this relationship go deep?
Right.
Because it's like
Right.
what I need. And we've actually been meeting for about like 3 years now. We actually have a little group we call Brethren of the Brew. It's like 3 of
Okay.
us, and we try out some different breweries here in town. And but we meet once a month, and I'm really grateful for it. But you're right, it is like a really common thing, especially with guys
Yeah.
who are married, who have kids. Like, so many of them, they're just wiped, after what they do,
Sure.
regardless of what their occupation is.
Right.
And so they go home, and the years go by, and then they're like, they have no friends,
Yeah.
So, and I totally get it. I've been there.
I think we've opened something up here, because to see you in the public eye,
Yeah.
to see your family and how you interact,
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear you say, or you realize, like, I have no really close friends. Who's that tight circle?
Yeah.
When it looks like you have hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah.
connections,
Yeah.
and that can be a misconception. People just assume, well, he's doing great, he's fine,
Yeah.
And it's when we do finally get away to a retreat or whatever, and you get one-on-one with one person, that individual,
Yeah.
and you're able to kind of bare your soul and realize, like, I'm actually kind of lonely in a way.
Yeah.
I don't have someone that I can trust with everything,
Yeah. It's sort of redefined even like what discipleship, what doing life looks like for me. Before, it was like, you go on out, you have these coffee meetings. It's like, hey, I'm the pastor. Let me
Yeah.
tell you the things that
Yeah.
you should do and that I know.
How can I help you?
When everybody knows we have just as much stuff
Right.
of our own, right?
Yeah.
So it was a time that sort of redefined all of that, where it's like, actually, maybe discipleship looks more like just, doing life alongside these individuals.
Yeah.
And maybe it looks more like just, one of the guys from our church, his name, Rob Cashel, we just go on walks. He
nice.
has he works over by the Santa Fe Trail, and we'll walk together.
I know Rob. Yeah.
And I'll share what's going on. He'll share what's going on. We pray together. I'll encourage him. He encourages me. And like, discipleship's happening, like, not only for him, but for me also.
Yeah.
And I don't need to sit in some weird spiritual elevated role. I can just more, put in the work to be like, hey, can we get this on the schedule? and put a little intentionality along it. But I let him know, like, hey, what the Lord's doing in you is as much of a blessing, to me. Like, this time is beneficial to me, and I hope you know that this isn't
Right.
just like a one-way thing where I'm just giving. Like, so I let him know that, like, what he has on his life is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes the best things come out of just an informal setting.
Yeah.
Obviously we plan to be here today.
We
It's
did.
on the calendar for weeks.
Yeah.
We know it's going to happen,
Yeah.
but we don't know what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
And we have to just create space and, like you said, be intentional
Yeah.
to put an environment in play
Yeah.
to allow us to connect a little bit.
I love what you said too. Like, it's just this idea of you just make time, you make
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
I think we've put a lot of pressure on ourselves sometimes to figure out all the other pieces sometimes, especially, as a pastor, talk about discipleship.
Yeah.
When maybe it's less about all these strategies, not to say we need to throw them all out the window, but, if you just make space and you open up and you're real and authentic and vulnerable, that's a lot that the Holy Spirit can just work with just in that,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And some of us, it comes a little more easier too than
Sure.
others. I know at this stage of life, I know myself pretty well. I say
Yeah.
often I'm a connector, a facilitator,
You
and
are.
a promoter,
Yeah.
encourager. I have the capacity to have many friendships, and I go out of my way just naturally. If someone crosses my mind, I want to reach out. And I love technology for the fact that I can text someone literally and around the world and say, "How are you doing?"
Mm,
Was just thinking about you.
yeah.
And a conversation starts.
Yeah.
And I love putting people together. I think this person definitely needs to meet that guy,
Yeah.
because they would really hit it off.
Yeah.
And that brings me so much joy. And I feel like I'm really operating in my sweet
Yeah.
spot, where I'm just doing what I was wired to do.
Yeah.
And so,
So evident.
yeah, and I love that. And
Hmm.
that's why you catch me in coffee shops and local establishments. I love the hum of life, places that bring people together.
Yes.
So I talk and promote a lot of our local establishments and brag on them. And
Yeah.
I see the little things that they are doing well, just bringing people to the table, even just to
Yes.
have a conversation.
Yes.
It's so important.
Yeah. Talk
And
about creating space. Like, coffee
yeah,
shops are one of the best places for that. I'm not sure if I've told you this, but I worked at Starbucks for a lot of years.
okay.
I was that pastor guy who had, I was getting my degree and learning how to even be a pastor or whatever. But then I worked at Starbucks for a handful of years. I worked
Yeah,
at like a coffee shop there in Reading. But as much as there were the hard things about the working in the coffee business, which I do not miss.
yeah,
The part that I did miss was that just that space where you had all these different people, all these different
right.
jobs and backgrounds and beliefs, and it was just like a meeting place, right, where they
Yeah,
could all come together, meet one another, and you could just see the beauty of a
right.
community, of a city through
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah. In our city, and there's plenty of cities that have wonderful things going on like that.
Yeah,
But it's something I truly appreciate about where we live.
yeah,
We have little pockets all over the city that are like little ecosystems.
yeah,
It's the neighborhood shop.
yeah,
It's a region of town like Northgate or Interquest. You get down to Old Colorado City or Manitou.
yes,
They all have their own little thing about
yeah,
them.
yeah,
And it's just fun that when you can pop in there and you just see life happening. And I
yeah,
don't know why. I just take so much joy in that.
yeah,
I feel like I am missing out on something if I'm not involved at
yeah,
some level.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. When we had our first home, like I said, it was over by Old Colorado City. And me and my wife and a few others, we always said best side or west side, best side.
Yep.
It was just our favorite part of town. You go over there, the people felt different.
Uh-huh.
You had more of the mom and pop shops, So even now, we live, up in the Briargate area, but we just love downtown.
Yeah.
In any city for that matter. But
Sure.
we go down there whenever it comes to like coffee shops now or going out to eat or a date night. Um, it's fun. And Colorado Springs, you're right. It has all these different pockets depending where you're
Right.
at.
And we've
Yeah.
lived here long enough now that it doesn't feel as large as it did when
Mm.
we first got here.
Oh,
Because, in the beginning, you kind of stick to where your home is, your neighborhood. That's
sure.
where I walk, that's where I ride my bike and
Yeah.
do different things.
Yes.
But now, because of what I do,
Hmm.
real estate pulls me all over the city. We're 25 miles up and down the Front Range here.
Yeah.
And so I'll be in a coffee shop way down south. And when I bump into someone I know down there, I'm like, I'm really making a connection here
Yeah.
because it's just growing,
Hmm.
and I enjoy that.
Yeah.
It really starts to feel like home.
Yes.
I grew up in the deep south and come out here. We never thought we'd be this far away from home,
Hmm.
family that's close. That we're the only ones out here.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It's just something I just cherished.
Yeah.
I love that. I get up every morning like a kid on Saturday morning, just ready to be a part of it.
Yeah. I
And we
love
have
that.
so much sunshine here too.
Yeah.
It makes you want to get involved and be a part of it too.
Yeah.
So, well, I would love to dive into your heart, and I think I might have said this earlier, but
Yes.
what are your dreams for the future? What's the
Mm.
thing? What's the big thing you hope to accomplish?
Mm. Yeah. Besides just being a very present dad and everything to do with family, that is huge to me. Um, I I feel like when it comes to being a pastor, I'm gonna sort of more talk in that area.
Okay.
Um, I feel like the first, so I'm 37 years old now, and I would say the first 10 years, I've been doing ministry full time for about 10 years. I feel like the first 10 years were just driven by motives that were pretty about Andrew.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty about Andrew.
Mm,
Um, and sort of what I could get as a worship pastor and a worship leader. And I feel like one of my biggest things, like when it comes to life, is actually to represent Christ well. And, he was the one who would wash people's feet, who laid down his life. And I think if this next 10, 20 years of my life can be driven by motives that are purer than the first 10
yeah.
have been, that would be massive to me. When I took the job at Timbercreek Church, which is where obviously I'm at now,
Yeah.
um, it feels like the first time that I said yes to a church job, not because of this, like, oh, I can, write songs or get this out of it, but it felt like the Lord was calling me there, but it was like for his people, you
Hmm.
know?
Okay.
So I really am passionate about pastoring a church, just, being a part of discipling a church in a way that like represents Christ well, that looks like Jesus to the world. I think right now you can look in the news and that you don't always see that with churches.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just see things falling apart left or right. So I think whatever way I can just help, especially obviously worship, such a deep passion of mine. When it comes to worship culture, like building a part of a worship culture, like helping to just have the hard discussions to help bring us back to where Christ does feel like the center again. So however I can help a church relearn that, a worship team relearn that,
Yeah.
to write songs around that,
Yeah.
that feels like the dream. I don't want to just reproduce another big song
Right.
anymore, as much as, we talked about that earlier. I really just want them to come out of a different place. I think there's so many places and so many artists doing songs right now that I can begin to feel like noise these days.
Hmm.
Um, so, um, yeah, however that might look these next 10 years. And um, there's been something really beautiful about being part of a small church, as that's happening. Timber Creek's the smallest, youngest church that I've ever been a part of.
Okay.
And under just the leadership of Patrick right now. And Patrick's like one of the most humble leaders I've ever been alongside.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can just try things.
Yeah.
So that's really fun too.
Yeah.
There's not necessarily this point right now where it's like, hey, here's the system, here's the formula, here's how you do it. It
Right.
feels like a lot more as a 37-year-old who has done the ministry schools, who did the college, whatever. I can just ask questions again and almost try and rediscover, for myself, just something that is less production heavy, and something that rings more true with the Jesus that I know,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah,
I know we live in a culture where almost everything is regimented or very formulaic.
Yeah.
There's a template
yeah,
to even starting a church. And that's great.
Yeah.
That we
Yeah.
need a starting point and something to keep us focused. I get that.
Yes.
And some churches are very good at that, and wash, rinse, repeat in
Yeah.
this city, that city, and keep growing, keep growing.
Yeah.
But the hope is that through that, you don't lose what can happen in the moment. Like, are we truly listening to the calling, and
Yeah.
what are we supposed to be doing in this moment right now, today?
Yeah.
And I feel like you're right there.
Yeah.
You come across that way. You're in a great fertile field, I think, for growth. And it's very evident in how you come. Christmas was amazing.
Oh.
It was just such a beautiful service.
It was fun.
Warm, inviting,
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
And so I thank you for that. It was really well done.
Thanks, Steve.
And I know there's always planning. There's always rehearsal.
Yeah. None of this stuff
Scheduling.
that I'm saying
Everybody's
means like
in
we
a
don't do this stuff. Yeah.
You got to have a plan, or
Sure.
the plan can fall apart.
Yeah.
But I just commend you for doing such a good job. And
Thanks,
I'm thankful
Steve.
you're here.
Yeah.
Are there
Thank
any
you.
closing remarks? If you had 5 minutes with me, and you wouldn't see me again, what would you want me to take away?
Oh man, and I wouldn't see you again. Where are you going?
I don't know. What do you want people after they encounter Andrew? What would you want them to leave with?
I feel like there's a lot to say, but then not much to say at the same time. I feel like, one, I'm just so humbled to be like a part of this. It's such a joy to join you and like be a part of, what you're doing here, Steve. I think you're incredible.
Oh, well, I'm the one that's honored.
Yeah. Maybe just as like somebody who's 37 years old, like has 3 kids or this young, at this age, don't you have kids in your 20s, just it's okay. Keep like learning, and
sure.
I feel like even what I want you to remember is, maybe that sense of like wonder when it comes to whether it's being a dad, or wonder when it comes to like rediscovering what worship and ministry is. Like you don't have to have it all figured out. Like there's almost this idea that we have to be so professional, but especially when it comes to something like I'm helping people to meet with the Lord in a time of worship. That's ultimately, what my goal is in worship ministry. Like, yes, I'm playing my guitar, but even that, I can't make people encounter God. That's the work of His Spirit, and so maybe for people just to, look at these things again, whatever it is that they're passionate in life, and know that it's okay to almost go back to square one again, to embrace humility. I think even there's something so refreshing about that for culture right now.
Yeah.
I think you have all these really big-headed people trying to get to, be the king of the hill or whatever that whole thing is.
Yeah.
And I think we just need more people who look sort of, like meek, people who are humble, people who are willing to put others first, to redefine success, and redefine in such a way that it actually lifts up others rather than oneself. And I think you do that super well on this podcast, but I hope in whatever life looks like for me and how people see me, they would see somebody who is, pushing attention toward others.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to do that well. So.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that.
Does that answer it?
Yeah, that's a great answer. Again, thank you for taking time to do this.
Yes.
I know you're incredibly busy, and your wife is probably waiting for you to get back so you can help. Come rescue
We'll see.
me.
Where's my phone?
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time,
Yeah.
and I'm truly, truly appreciative of our friendship,
Yeah.
and I look forward to growing that and what's to come. So thanks again.
Thanks, Steve. All right.